I'm going to show you some simple foot and ankle exercises for beginners of any age. If you're a senior or you are a 20-year-old who is looking to improve the health of your feet and ankles, this video is for you. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. Real quick, why would you want to strengthen your feet? If you get foot cramps all the time, strengthening your feet is a great idea. If you want to improve your balance, strengthening your feet is a good idea. If you want to be a better athlete in a sport that requires you to have your feet on the ground, which is a lot of them, then you're going to want to have strong feet. The exercises I'm going to show you are going to help you strengthen your toes, your feet, your ankles, and even your shins and calves. And one piece of advice, if you are wearing really clunky, stiff, thick-soled shoes and you're trying to build stronger feet, get some different shoes. You want to gradually transition to shoes that are thin and flexible that allow your foot muscles to actually do something. Wearing stiff and flexible shoes is like wearing boxing gloves 24/7. Are you more protected from impact? Absolutely. Are your fingers, hands, and wrists going to be very strong? No, because you're just paralyzing your fingers in here and your wrist is not really getting to do any work. So all the muscles here are not going to be as coordinated and strong because you've got them all locked up and extra supported. I've done a lot of videos on barefoot shoes and I'll link to them in the description box. Check them out after you're finished watching this video. Okay, now it's time to talk about the exercises. Watch all of them so you have strong toes, feet, and ankles. First, we're gonna start with an exercise basically everybody knows. It's the calf raise. You can just do this standing in front of a wall and you're gonna be leaned a little bit forward and then you're going to be lifting your body up off of the floor, heels come off the floor, and then slowly back down. When you're doing this, you might notice that your body has a tendency to put more pressure towards the big toe side of a foot or towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Whatever your tendency is, make sure that you learn how to do the opposite. So if you tend to go out to the sides onto the pinky toe side, try doing your calf raises by putting a little more pressure in onto the big toe side, into the ball of the foot near the big toe. For some people whose foot and ankle muscles might be really weak, doing this with a forward lean might actually be too hard, in which case you can just come forward so that you're standing straight up and even push into the wall and down to try to give yourself a little bit of help to lift yourself up. For those who want more challenge, walk your feet further away so that you're going way away from the wall and then getting a bigger, fuller range of motion. You can go so far back that your heels are not even touching the ground, and then you are getting a really full, deep stretch in your calves and also working those calf muscles at length. Ideally, you want to work towards getting to this position so that you're getting a really nice calf stretch. You're getting full range of motion. You want to build this strength at every length. So you're strong when the muscles are long and strong when the muscles are shortened. These muscles here are the ones that are working when we're doing these calf raises. When you want to make these even harder, you can just lift one foot, hook it around the other, and then just do a calf raise on one leg at a time. Again, focus on what your body tends to not be good at. So if you feel like you're constantly moving out to the side, towards the pinky toe side, really try to control the motion. See what happens if you go more towards the big toe side, and vice versa. If you're on pinky all the time, then go to that big toe side and see what happens. You can do a set of 10 to 20, maybe even 30 if you're a real glutton for punishment, and then take a rest once you feel that fatigue really kicking in. Then you're gonna go ahead and turn around, you're gonna have your butt against the wall, and you're gonna do the opposite motion. I suggest doing this with shoes on. If you're doing it barefoot, then put some sort of padding under your heels. You're gonna have your feet planted a few feet away from the wall, and then you're just gonna curl your toes up towards your face, really using the muscles of the front of your shins. You're gonna keep your knees straight for this variation, hold that top position for a count of 3, and then slowly back down. Then do it again. You're gonna do this for sets of 10 to 20 and maybe 30, but I really doubt it, and you're just gonna keep going until you get fatigue. Again, pay attention to what your body wants to do. If you keep finding yourself splaying out or moving in directions you don't intend, then try to correct for that. You want to have volition at every position. You want to try to control things so you can do it flat, so you can do it slanted, so you can do it slanted the other way. Just work on it and see what's challenging, and then train your shin muscles to get used to doing those different angles and positions. This exercise is really gonna burn the front of your shins, so enjoy. Then you can go ahead and face the wall again. If you need to take a break because your lower leg is on fire, that's fine. Take 30 seconds, take 2 minutes, take whatever you want. When you're ready, get back in front of that wall, Bend your knees this time, and we're gonna do the calf raises again. So this version of the calf raise is going to work different calf muscles. The first version we did with the straight knees was working the gastrocs. Those are the big fatter muscles that everyone thinks about when they think of their calves. The bent knee version of this exercise works the soleus, which is another calf muscle which doesn't get that much attention. Nobody really knows its name. It's mostly just had a couple minor roles on some random TV shows and Netflix series. It keeps trying and plugging away, and one day I think it's gonna make a breakthrough. So again, you're gonna keep going until you get fatigued, 10 to 20 probably. If you wanna make it harder, walk away so that you get your heels so that they're off the ground, or go really, really, really deep into it and press into the wall so you're creating resistance for your calf muscles. And again, you can also go into just 1 foot at a time when you're ready for that and you feel like you want that challenge and burn. The bent knee version on 1 foot should look very familiar, because if you are doing any sort of sports where you need to run and sprint forward, which I think is most sports, then you need to get some explosive power out of your foot and ankle muscles in this position. So get stronger at this and your running will get better. It also means your balance and agility will be better because you'll be able to plant, change directions, and push off with that bent knee. One thing to mention is when you're doing calf raises, it's a good idea to use a pause at the very top, count to 3, count to 5, and then slowly lower back down. This gives your muscles time to learn how to really contract at that top position. Hey, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Gwendolyn and Becky for your PayPal donations. Gwendolyn gave $50 and Becky gave $30, and I appreciate it so much. If you want to support this channel too, use the donate link you'll find in the description box or the join and thanks buttons on YouTube. And please go to my website to sign up for my newsletter so we always stay connected no matter what the internet censors do. Now let's get back to it. So once you're done with that exercise, you turn around, let the burning subside if you need to, and we're gonna do a modified version of that shin raise that we did earlier. So your knees are slightly bent this time, and then we're going to be lifting the toes up off of the floor. Again, try to control the way things are moving. Just go up, hold it down, up, hold it down, until you feel a nice solid burn, repetitions of 10 to 20. And before we move on to the muscles in the foot, I do want to explain one other progression or option or variation you can use, which is to use a curve or a stairs or a slant board. And you're just going to use that to create a tougher ankle position. So you can be right here standing straight up. This is going to help you get a nice stretch, obviously. And then you can go up and down, up and down. It can be real helpful to do something like this if you have really stiff, tight calves. Just being able to feel stable and secure as you drop down is really nice sometimes for people with really stiff ankles. Just remember that you also want to be using the muscles in that lengthened position. So using those calves, really lifting, holding that top position, slowly back down. Again, lifting, hold that top position, slowly back down. This is a nice to have, not necessarily a need to have, but if you're one of those people who's always trying to go buy things that you think you need, then go get yourself a slant board. Slant boards are also really helpful for training your knee strength, which is really helpful if you're trying to improve your balance and just get more athletic in general. If you don't have a slant board, you can always buy a cinder block and a piece of wood, or you can just use some pads or stacks of books to act the same way. I like this one because it's grippy, but it costs money, and if you don't have extra money to throw around at random training tools, don't. I actually got an awesome deal on a different kind of slant board from a thrift store. This slant board cost me $2 from a thrift store. It's actually just a parking block for RVs and trucks. And finally, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of our toes and feet. So first we're going to start with some toe curls to strengthen the bottoms of your feet and toes. Toe curls are just this. You're going to try to bring them down towards the heel. It's like you're trying to grab something. When you first start off, you might want to just do this without any extra ankle motion, and you don't have to hold this close to your face. You can just have your foot on the floor, or you could just put it out in front of you and just work on bringing those toes in. You're just trying to squeeze down. Do these slowly and with control. You're going to feel muscles working here, and you might feel some stretch across the top of your toes. If you have lived your life in stiff, chunky shoes, you may get some horrible cramping in the bottom of your foot. I'm sorry, right now there's nothing we can do about it besides wait for that horrible cramp to go away and then just relax and then try to do it again. I promise over the coming days and weeks, your foot will not cramp so much as those muscles get stronger. But for right now, you're just gonna hate me. If you can, do sets of 10 to 20 and vary the intensity of your contraction and also the length of your contraction. You can try doing little short ones if you feel like that's all you can handle, but over time, maybe you can do nice long 5-10 second contractions and then relax out. Once you get the hang of actually just squeezing with your toes, you can start playing with the angle of your ankles. So you can actually really try to point the foot so that the ankle here is about as flat as you can get it. I know that I have not yet achieved that super straight, sexy ballet dancer flatness that a lot of women are able to do, but the idea is to try to get that nice and flat while you're pointing and squeezing. Or you can try to just keep that foot and ankle pointed like that and then do the squeezes to get a little extra weird coordination challenge. You can also try to keep the ankle cocked back while you do those toe curls. And when you want to get really funky, you can just grab your toes with your fingers and provide resistance to the curling motion. Try to give yourself resistance throughout the entire motion and really focus on angles and positions that just feel really weak. And some of your toes are probably going to feel real wobbly and uncontrolled, like my outer two toes, that pinky and ring toe. They really don't like having to squeeze. So getting a little extra attention and resistance, helping them figure out how to fire, getting them to flex properly can be challenging, but it's also really rewarding. I can tell when I've strengthened them and activated them because I'll just feel more connected to the ground once they've been turned on. Vary the resistance level from day to day and make sure you train through a full range of motion. Do a set of 10 to 20 or 2 fatigue, wherever that is, and then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to be lifting the toes up off of the floor and back down. So we're curling the toenails towards our face. Hey buddy, how's it going? It's been a while. Really get used to firing the muscles that control the toes to pull them back. Again, if you've been living in really stiff, clunky shoes, this just might not feel very good and you might get a little cramp on the top of your foot. Sorry, not sorry. When you're doing these, really try your best to make sure you're moving the toes and not just the whole foot. If it helps, you can hold the foot down and just focus on getting the toes to lift up. If you don't have a good connection to the dorsiflexion muscles of your toes, then you're going to keep trying to cheat by lifting the whole foot up. So make sure you're not cheating. Again, you can also mess around with ankle angles, so you can try to point the actual foot and ankle and then pull the toes back, or you can just combine all the pull back, all this dorsiflexion together. Mess around with whatever you want. Remember that you want volition at every position. And finally, if you have lived in shoes that squish your toes in towards each other, you may want to spread those suckers back out. So you can take your fingers and interlace them one by one with your toes. You may find that you can't fit between all of them, and that's okay. See if you can gently coax a little more range between your toes. Be gentle when you do this and only go as far as feels like a decent, moderate challenge. You don't want it to feel like you cannot breathe anymore. If your toes have been jammed up your entire life, then you might not be able to tolerate very much toe spread at the moment. That's okay. If you want, you can just go toe by toe and work on gently spreading them apart. If you feel anything super duper sharp, then just don't go as far, don't go as intensely. Make sure you can stay calm and breathe as you're working on improving your toe spread. Spend 1 to 5 minutes just playing with your toes, spreading them apart and getting them to wiggle around. And of course, do it on both sides. So now you have a full set of simple exercises you can do at home to strengthen your feet and ankles. When you first start off, I suggest doing all the exercises I just showed you in the order that I just showed you. Although if you really want, you can do all the toe spreading before you do everything else I showed you. Do the workout twice a week. That means Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Saturday or something like that, so you have enough days in between for your body to recover. The last thing you want to do is cripple yourself with soreness, because really sore feet and ankles are really hard to deal with because you have to get from point A to point B with your feet. Once you feel like you understand these exercises and you're capable and confident, you can go ahead and try to do more. Instead of just 1 round of all these exercises, do 2 rounds, but still keep that Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Saturday schedule. And if you feel like your body would benefit from doing it 1 more time a week, then you can try doing that. You can try doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday and see how that feels, but again, don't cripple yourself with soreness. You don't want to be going super hard every single day because your muscles will definitely not like that. If you want to practice calf raises and shin raises and working on toe spread every day, it's okay. Just make sure you're not trying too hard day after day after day after day. Gentle bits of practice are fine every day, but going super hard trying to strengthen your toes every single day is not fine. Let me know how these exercises feel for you. Drop me a comment down below. And if you're looking for a program to help you with your foot pain in a totally non-medical way, then go to uprighthealth.com/DIY and look for the foot pain fix. On that page, you'll also find programs like the shoulder fix and the back pain fix to help you rebuild your body at home, so go check them out. For more free videos to help you with your body, check out these here. To support this channel, use the donate link you'll find in the description box or the join and thanks buttons on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe with the bell notification on, and as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.